Okay, working on a 2008 Saturn Aura 3.6 liter VVT. This has been fun. So take the covers off, which are right here. They come off. They're just compression. They just pop off these grommets. Anyways, you take those off. As you can see, the fronts. I replaced all three of those. It's a 10 millimeter on each one. Pull the coil out. Coil packs look like this when they're connected in there, and they just pop out under the electrical connection. These plugs are pretty worn. They've got, see the electrodes are worn skinny there. They should be the same thickness as the rest. Some of them have oil on them, which worries me a little bit. Getting some blow by there. But for the most part, those front ones took me about 20 minutes. These back ones, however, have been a real pain in the butt. So as you can see here, there is one right there. That one was not bad. Second one in, which is, let me focus out here a little bit. This one right here. That's the third or second one. The third one is back here. As you can see, this big metal piece right here on the intake manifold, it goes clear out. I thought I couldn't get the coil out. I thought it was hitting this right here. It's not. This wire loom down here, this bugger right here, was pushed up against the side of the coil pack, holding it from coming up away from the to clear it. As you can see right now, I've got the socket in the plug hole. So I'm about ready to take that out. But so you have to remove the manifold. You don't. So far, I've gotten 5 of them without removing the manifold, and minimal disassembly. Just the engine cover was all I've had to take off, and they've come out fairly easy. I just I've gapped these to 45. They're the Iridium, AC Delco Iridiums. I believe the models are 41,988. So gap to 45, that's kind of the preset. The ones that came out of it were quite the gap. Well, they're worn though, so it's hard to measure because the electrode's so worn. But I've read anything from 40 to 50, so I just went 45. Gap's not huge, it helps. I mean, it does make a difference, but on a car like this, 45 should be fine. Got the electrical connectors off. They're pretty easy. They just have, at least this car, I've seen some that have safety tabs. These ones just depress right there and pull straight back. You hear a click. Make sure there's a rubber, kind of a multi-layered rubber O-ring inside of these that try to pull out on a couple of those. Wrap it around this end, slide it over the connector, then push it back, and don't try to stick it in the housing and it'll just jam up in there. So once you pull this out, just wrap the grommet around the inside of the electrical connector. You'll see how it goes on, and then just push the connector back on. Again, if I had a tripod, I would set this up and show you this last plug because it's going to be a bugger. But it's not impossible if you got some tools. So to get the 10 millimeter coil screws off, I used this. I used a 1/4 inch with the swivel on it, and came out simple as you know what. I mean, very easy. And then on the fronts, I might have a longer extension on my 3/8, but I took it off and put a 6-inch. The 6-inch goes in down the hole where the spark plug is and leaves you just enough clearance to put your ratchet on there and undo it. So once you get to the back ones, use a 6-inch extension and just a regular 3/8 inch drive and a 5/8 inch socket, and they come right out. They're a bugger. Your hands will get a little beat up. My thumb is starting to seep because I ripped the skin off of it a little bit, but I've been kind of careful not to like jam and force anything. My arms are bruised up from the previous days working this car, but anyways, not horribly bad. My concern right now is just the oil that's in the cylinders or the spark plugs. That makes me wonder. I got some ring issues. 143,000 miles on this motor. And I think these are the original plugs. So they're probably 40,000 over recommended change. And I'm hoping, so it needed an alternator. I bought this from a friend for $500, which is an XR. I mean, it's a nice car. It's, you know, it's good condition. I cleaned the interior up on it. You know, I got the doors. It was dirty. Just got it all clean. Little oxidation on top, which is no big deal. It's a commuter car for me. I'm going to polish the headlights and get them de-yellowed so they're clear again. But so alternator has some issues. It wasn't working at all. It wasn't charging the battery, so it's got a brand new battery. So I put a brand new alternator. Just a tip, if you go on eBay, there's a couple sellers on it that sell the remanufactured exact one you need. It's $135 shipped. All the parts stores around here, the cheapest one I could find was $368. This it works great. My battery's charging. There's no problems. It's the same exact thing that they're selling, except it's not through a giant chain store. $116, I think, with the discount plus tax. It was like $135, and they shipped it right out. You will want this if you decide to do an alternator. Trust me, you'll want one of these, which is your tensioner bar for your pulleys, and the tensioner is down. It's kind of down low. I just took the whole airbox assembly out so I could reach everything. Just this big long tube here, and the airbox assembly, real simple, just a couple connections, and then your tensioner pulley is down there. You can't get a ratchet on it. But put the handle of the tensioner to the back and pull this way. There's an extension on it. So you'll want this piece and this piece together, shaped like an L. Put the smaller end on the tensioner and put the back of the handle up towards the back and pull it towards you. And it makes it real simple. You just hook up the belt or grab the belt, pull the tensioner, and the belt comes right off. So remember how it goes on, because I had to look at a diagram and I took the alternator off. I couldn't remember how I took it off. But anyway, rent one. You can rent them from any of the stores. I just went ahead and bought it because I swear I've done like a half a dozen of these in the last year. I'm not really like a car mechanic per se, but I've had a couple cars I bought used that I need alternators. I've got a couple friends that have needed alternators, and I always end up needing a stinking tensioner wrench. So I just went ahead and bought it. It was 30 bucks. I think you can get them at Harbor Freight for 18. So anyways, I'd go to Harbor Freight. They were just too far away at the time. I didn't want to drive there. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and put the wrench in there, try to get that third one out. If I have any issues, I'll let you know what they were. I did take off, the only thing I took off back here was this thing right here. This mounts, yeah, this mounts right. Let's see. So this mounts right there. I took that off so I can move it out of the way, and this tube is probably it hooks to your, it's like a vacuum line, go into your manifold there. I pulled that off too so I could kind of get room, because you can see it's pretty tight back there. Beat your hands up pretty good. If you got big hands like me, I'm 6'4", my hands are not dainty by any means, and I've had to fight it a little bit, but you can, it's doable. You just gotta have some patience, get the right extensions, and have a few tools available. You'll want either a magnet, a cylinder magnet tool, like the telescoping magnet tool, or what I used was, even though this doesn't fit over the actual spark plug, once I got the spark plug out, this does have the little rubber gasket inside, so I just slide it over the top of the spark plug on the extension and pull the plug out once you've got it unscrewed, because you can't get them out of there, they're deep. So I'd use a magnet, or on the front, I used this guy, just a little grabber tool to reach in and pull the spark plug out. Anyways, just have a few tools available and some definite patience, and it's a doable job. I'm sure if you took this to a shop, they probably want to charge you God knows what, probably $500–600 or more. They wanted $745 to replace that alternator. $745 before tax, Would have been an $800 repair. 135 took me about an hour. Done deal. So don't take it to a shop. These cars are pretty nice. The engines are strong. I mean, if they're taken care of, it should run for a long time. I'll have to look into the oil in these cylinders and see what's going on, but do a compression check on all 6 of these. That'll be next, and hopefully the rough idle. Oh yeah, that's why I changed the spark plug. So I got the alternator fixed, got it started and running, and it's running rough. I'm getting a P300 code for misfire. It's not giving me any particular cylinder, probably because half of them are misfiring, so it's probably just like the whole thing's not working. But it runs. You get on the highway, I can go 80 miles an hour, it's smooth. The minute you start to accelerate or try to pass, or if you're at a stop and you try to accelerate, it's just really choppy and rough. So I've got either fuel or spark. First thing I wanted to check was spark, since it's the easiest and most common. And when I pulled those front spark plugs out and saw how worn they were, I just went ahead and decided to change all 6 of them. And so that's what I'm doing right now. So I'll get these done, start it up, see what happens, and I will fill you guys in here in a few. Thanks.